Well, it is Wednesday and I am back in the office. It's been a busy week for a law firm in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Come out with a blog article later this week regarding who you take your legal advice from. And I've had a number of clients over the years come to me and told me during our initial consultation, well, I spoke to a friend of mine and they recommended that I do this or that. And the first question I have is, well, are they attorneys? And usually they'll say either they're not lawyers or they're lawyers but don't practice, or they work for the judge, or they used to practice and they've retired, or they work with a lot of people who are no lawyers, or they're doctors, or, I mean, believe it or not, they'll ask legal advice from their doctor or their social worker or their counselor. And quite frankly, this is simply the wrong approach. Do not take legal advice from anyone but an attorney who practices in that particular area. And I don't care how much experience a person claims they have dealing with people, or they've worked in business and they've made presentations at very high levels. They're not lawyers. So for them to chime in and give their 2 cents on what you should do if you're facing a criminal charge is simply inappropriate, and they are not looking out for your best interest, even though they think that they may be. What they're doing is just muddying the waters and making a decision more complicated for you, because they're putting pressure on you to think twice about what your attorney is telling you to do. Now, I always encourage people to do their research before hiring a lawyer, but once you've hired that attorney and put your faith and trust in that individual, you shouldn't deviate unless that person gives you a reason to deviate. And if you have to change lawyers, do it for the right reasons, and also change lawyers based on what you've researched about that lawyer, or what you've come to find out about that lawyer, or simply the advice that you think you're getting. But if you're getting a second opinion, it should come from an attorney, not from your friend or family member or your counselor or your doctor or whoever you're meeting with, who you believe is a trusted professional. If they're not an attorney and they don't practice law, and when I mean practice law, I mean in a courtroom, not sitting behind a desk. If they're not doing that, they simply are not in a position to give you legal advice for a matter that's going to proceed in a courtroom where you're going to have a judge or a jury or a prosecutor, something that's going to punch back. It's a lot easier to send an email and to deal with someone outside of a courtroom than it is. And once those doors close in that courtroom and it's you and your defense lawyer, that person who gave you that advice is no longer there to be found. And you can go back to them and say, hey, it didn't work out. And they could say, just a follow-up question, just a follow-up answer will be, well, I'm not a lawyer. So they'll hide in that. And I can't just encourage you enough. When you have a legal problem, you go to an attorney who covers that area, who's worked in that area, has experience in that area, who's had cases in that area, and knows how the judge or jury will react to a certain course of action. That's why you have an attorney, that's why you pay an attorney, and that's what you should be expecting from your lawyer. So if you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, website GamboneLaw.com. As always, a tremendous resource for you and your family. All of my books, my blogs, my videos are available there in one convenient format. You have to understand that an attorney has taken time to understand these issues, and for a person to claim that they have some knowledge of what they think you should do because of the experience they have is simply not right. No case is the same, and really you have to take one step at a time as far as approaching a legal problem, and no legal problem can be solved in just one telephone conversation with your friend, family member, or a person who's simply trying to give you advice. So nothing is that simple. That this isn't Law and Order. This isn't a TV show. Legal problems takes months and sometimes years to resolve. So I just leave you with that. Once again, if you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll talk to you all very soon.